Well, ladies and gentlemen, what an absolute treat. It has been for 40 years for me, a personal pleasure to call this man a friend that long, but a personal treat here on Habscast and my show, the Montreal Forum with Liam Maguire. Courtesy, by the way, of Hosey and Brown Automotive. We thank them very much for their sponsorship. But what a treat today to be joined by the Roadrunner, Le Capitaine, le numéro 12, Yvan Cournoyer. Yvan, comment ça va?
Good morning, Liam. I
On
think it's going fine. I mean, I think it's going to be a very an exciting year for the Montreal Canadiens this year. So it's fun to go
Yeah,
to the Bell Center. You
yeah.
don't have any free ticket at the Bell Center right now, and
No,
but I think they have a good group they have fun together. They when you come back like the last game 3-0 and you came back. I mean, they give all what they have, and they're very fun to watch.
geez, it almost reminded me of game two of the quarterfinals in 71 against Boston when you guys were losing 5-1. And then Henry scores to make it 5-2. And then Big Jean scores two to make it 5-3 and 5-4. Do you remember that game?
Yes, I have a goal on that game.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the night before we talking, it was a little bit late. I was my roommate was Jean Beliveau, and it was about like over 12 o'clock. So we're talking, and I said, Jean, I said, I think we better sleep because they're gonna need us tomorrow, and that's exactly what happened.
Yvon, I'm going to pick it up from here, my friend. You were just telling us that you're in good health. You're in good health.
So far, I passed all the tests I can pass because I have sometimes a little bit of dizzy problem, but this is nothing. It's not cancer. It's not affecting my living. So I'm pretty lucky.
Well, we're so happy to hear that, my friend, and hope you're around for many years more. And now we got you on the air, Yvon. We got to talk some hockey. We got to talk some Montreal
You think
Canadiens.
so? You gotta talk hockey?
I know, right? It's a shock. It's
Well,
a
you had
shock.
the right logo anyway. I think you cheated now. I think
No
different
way, man.
country.
No way. No way.
I know
I'm
that, Liam.
I'm a Canadian fan through and through, and you know that. And we've
I
had
know.
great opportunities, so many opportunities to actually be in your fantastic home with your wife Evelyn and your son Curtis. I know you're a grandfather and you've got
Yeah.
such a fantastic family. And thank you for every time that you've brought us into your home. And hopefully I see you again this hockey season. That's my goal is to come down and see you and Evelyn and
I I hope you still have your tie from the Montreal Canadiens there.
I have it. I
You
have it.
better. You
I,
better.
I still have it. I will wear it. I will wear it that night,
Yeah.
guaranteed. Guaranteed. But look, Yvon, you are the best guy to ask this question because when people talk about coaching, Scotty Bowman's got all the records. He's got the most cups and everything else. You won Stanley Cups with Scotty. You won Stanley Cups with Toe Blake. Toe's name still gets mentioned by a lot of people as good or better, even though he didn't coach as long and win as many. I know you won a cup with Claude Ruel and you won a cup with Al McNeil. But could you tell our viewers, our listeners and viewers, something about Toe Blake, what it was like to play for him, and maybe compared to Scotty?
Well, Turbek was a very good coach. We can make mistake, and in the room he was very hard on you. But when that was time to have an interview with the press, I was not that bad of a guy. I was not that bad of a hockey player, and not me, but everybody.
Yeah.
And I won 3 Stanley Cup with two Blake, I think.
Yes, you did.
And he put me on the power play because those days we play only on 3 line.
Right.
So I was the fourth guys when the power play was coming, and I think I did very well on the power play. So I was telling Jean Beliveau to let me play for about a minute and a half, don't score a goal right away. And I said, I said let me play a little bit. And but I won 3 Stanley Cup with Toe Blake, and I was very fortunate to have the best time. I call it the old guys.
Yeah.
I like Gum Porsley, Jean Beliveau, Claude Provost,
Yeah.
so uh, I started. I was only 16, and we traveled by train. And but to Blake, even when he retired, when I had some problem, I was going to see him at his brasserie, and we talk, we sit and we talk a little bit, and he really helped me on that game. And
Wow.
Bowman, he was a little bit. He had a good team. When you're a good coach, it's much better if you have a good team. But
Yeah.
I don't forget, I win Stanley Cup with. I have four
Yeah.
coach. I
Yeah.
have Toe Blake, McNeil, Claude Ruel, and
Yes.
Bowman.
Yeah.
But maybe those guys. I don't know if they were all good, like people said, but we had a good team.
Yeah.
So for a coach, it's really helping to have a good team too. But you have to have the everybody's got to be on the same wave, and that's why we were. But too big. I mean, Bowman, Scotty Bowman was a different coach a little bit. He likes to put you always like something wrong. You have something wrong.
Yeah.
So even when I scored 5 goals one time, he did like my stick too much. So I said, how many goals you wanted with that stick? I scored 5. So so the next practice, he did like my stick too much, but that was okay. So I just to prove him that the next game I scored one more with the same stick. But sometimes you have to change it because you're afraid you're gonna break it or what. And but it was very interesting. Yeah, he could have put like Larry Robinson on the power play in front. You
Yeah.
never know what he would do.
Yeah.
So, but Two Blake hated goal against.
Yeah.
He hated every time I have a goal against with Two Blake. I chose the door. He was not too close from the door, so I tried to sit far away from him most of the time. But I did have too many goals against because I was playing the power play. So, but I enjoy all the coach that I have.
Yeah.
We had the team. We have maybe like close to 20 players, but we have like and don't forget they were alone. There was no assistant coach like Joe Blake,
Yeah.
McNeil, and Claude Ruel. And that's where Claude Ruel came to be assistant of Scotty Bowman.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the different time uh, for a coach to have a guy with him to help him on the bench.
Yeah.
But I think we did well. Everybody did very well. Even Sam Pollock, uh,
Yeah.
who he passed away before, and
Yeah.
I had I was 19 years old when I played my first game, and for tryout I think I scored 3 goals in 5 games, and
4.
no, so I was very lucky to be with them, and that was my team when I was young, and it's still my team because I work as a
Ambassador.
ambassador for the team,
Yeah.
and the people are very nice. They remember. I told them sometime we grew up together. You in front of the TV and me on the ice.
Yeah. That's right.
This is exactly what happened.
Absolutely, Yvan. 100%. I appreciate that insight on. I remember you sharing that with me once before about Toe Blake, how he was really defensive minded. He hated the goals against, and Scotty would push buttons. And I just figured you'd be a great guy to offer a little insight on that. And Yvan, just on the coaching, and then we'll move on to something else. But say what you can about this. But in 1971, you win the Stanley Cup. Al McNeil's the coach, but he has problems, right? He has problems with Fergie and he had problems with Henry. and like you're French Canadian, obviously, and Henry said some things. Al McNeil ended up being sent to Nova Scotia the next year, where he won a championship down there, and then Scotty takes over and did very well. But can you speak to how was that difficult for you at that time? You were a veteran and a key contributor offensively in 71. And you bring up Frank Mahovlich in a big trade, who's an English guy as well. But Henry and John had some problems with Al McNeil. Do you remember those days?
Well, I remember those days, but it was different. And Henry even went back home at one point. He did want to come back because I was McNeil behind the bench. So,
Right.
but he came back and he won the Stanley Cup. He's lucky because now he's got 11 Stanley Cup and I
I
got
know.
10. So I know he beat me by one, but everything turned out to be fine. And we win the Stanley Cup, or still win the Stanley Cup after that problem. That was minor, maybe. That was more in front of the people, a big thing to do, because you're not supposed to criticize the coach when you
Yeah.
play, and this is what happened. So, but it turned out to be fine.
Yeah. Well, you got the Stanley Cup, and look at Henry in Game 7 against Chicago, right? Ties it up and scores the winner
That's
on
it.
a beautiful play. So
Yeah.
it was phenomenal. It still
Even
was.
Al McLean was behind the bench that day.
Yeah. Al McNeil was behind the bench. So
Yeah,
all
so Henry was okay. He forget what happened.
exactly, exactly. Yvonne, I got to ask you about Jean Beliveau. You've mentioned his name already. I know that was. I'm so glad you shared the story about the power play where you would go on the ice and say, "Let's not score right away," so you could get some ice time. But there's another story you shared in 1966, your second Stanley Cup. You lose the first two games at home against Detroit, and then you go to Detroit for game three. And I don't know if you can recall, you shared that with me, what Jean did. I think he went to St. Paul. Can you take it from there, what Beliveau did?
Oh yeah, but something happened to because we lost the two first game. The
Right.
next morning we have a practice, and Detroit those days I think we were going by train, so
Yeah.
they came back at the forum to get their equipment, and they all come back outside of the room with a cigar in their mouth.
Oh,
I think that was a mistake.
yeah.
I think we look at it and we were very wet and good to stop and start, and they were looking at us like, hey guys, who is the best team? So I think that was a mistake. I hope never a team's going to do that to another team if they're behind,
Yeah.
because that's the way we said, okay, you guys, you think you won, but we came back, I think, in four straight, if
You
I
did.
if I if I remember.
Yeah.
So I think this is was our turn to have a cigar in the mouth.
Well, you had a few turns of that, Yvan. It was
I and
a
and,
few
and
cigars.
I don't like them too much still.
No, because they screwed you over in 1970 as well when you missed the
Yeah, that's
playoffs.
it. When they don't dress Gordy out to, and those days the playoff was the amount of goals.
Right.
So they have more goals, and I think they lost again against New York, 11 something.
Yeah.
So for us, we had to score 4 goals against Chicago.
Yeah.
And at the second period, we took the goalie out to try to score 4 goals
Yeah.
and come back, but it did fit. But after that, they changed the rule for games winning.
That's right.
So,
Rightfully so. It was the right call. That was
but Detroit is not my favorite team.
that's hey, still waters run deep, as the saying
Oh, you
goes.
better believe it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just Yvon, maybe a comment about Jean Beliveau. He was your first captain. I think of the amazing eulogy you did for him when at his funeral. You referenced him as your captain as well. And now I know in '66, I think after those two games, he went to Sam Pollock and got some money and got the whole team together, I believe.
Yeah.
And but just a comment from you about playing with the Gros Bill.
I was dressing beside him. So I was very lucky, and Jai and I we talk we play on the same line. So he always said, come from behind," because that was the red line those days. So you cannot pass the puck over the red line. So I
Right.
said, "Yes, John, I come from behind. Don't worry." And he passed the puck very, very, very good. So and I don't know why, but every time I was dressing in the room, his pad was longer than me. I didn't know why. He's why he was 6'6" 6'4", and
Yeah,
me, I
he's
was
yeah.
about 5'8". So I think he's got longer pads than me. I told
Yeah.
him, "See, you got a long pad. You should be a goalie maybe." So, but Jean for me was like a father for me.
Yeah.
Uh, he was not talking that much, but when he say, I always remember when he said, "I'm your captain for the season, and I'm the captain for out the season. If you have any problem, call me, and we're gonna fix what is the problem."
Wow.
So, and I learned a lot when I was named captain because I heard a lot from Jean,
Yeah.
and some guys are having a problem, and instead to go see the coach, they go see the captain and they talk about it. And
Yeah.
me, like a captain, I go see the coach and I give him hell.
There you go. There you go. As a captain should.
That's it exactly.
Yeah.
Don't play in our field.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but no, we had a good time. That's why when you win, now I see the guys down on the ice and before the game sometime they're on the corridor and they exercise with the ball, and you can see they have fun now.
Yeah. Which is great. Like you said, winning, of course, is the best, and you did it throughout your entire career, and it's been a drought in Montreal. Maybe we'll finish on that a little bit, but Yvon, I wanted to ask you something. There's so much talk, and I don't get the right story. When you were a kid, your dad did he make you a steel puck? Were you shooting with a heavier puck in your house in your basement?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I had 10 steel puck. My father had a machine shop,
Okay.
and I went there and I said, "Gee, I have to have a good shot because the NHL is not like junior or I didn't have time to play senior too much." So, and I went there and make myself 10 pucks, different weight, and the house was coming down because that was the basement, and I shoot on the wall. So I said better. So I went to get some hay, a ball of hay, and put some carpet around it and shoot on that.
Yeah.
But this is what I would. This is why, if I scored a goal changing end
Yes. Yeah.
because I was shooting on both end.
You would shoot both
To
hands.
I was shooting on both end because that was not the same muscle, and so and I was practicing to shoot left, and because I was left, so I was practicing to shoot right too. And one game against Minnesota, I came at the blue line and switched my stick to the left, to the right to the left. I mean, and I score a goal. And I went in front of the guy. I said, "Hey guys, is it for nothing or what?"
Do you still have the video on your phone?
Yes, yes, but I was lucky because for I think 15 years. I never see the video, and
Yeah.
somebody at the Hall of Fame sent me that video, and you can see my two hands changing to from left to right, and I give him a top corner,
Yeah.
and that is the best goal. That was the only goal I have, as a matter of fact, to change end.
It's amazing because it's Cesar Maniego, I believe, is a goalie. And you showed me the video, and the announcer, as he's calling the play, says you scored on a backhand. He says, "Oh,
Yeah.
Cournoyer scores on a backhand." And then you said, "Watch it." And you can see you switching hands.
I have the time to do it. So, but a backhand, I would have been too far. Because I was about like 20 feet, I think,
Yeah.
from the net.
Yeah.
And but I really enjoyed that goal, and so that was worth it. All that work,
Oh,
shooting
that
steel
worked.
puck, that was worth it.
I know you caught Caesar also in the mask in the 71 playoffs. Ironically, there's a picture of you just skating after you knock him out, I think, and you switched hands on that shot as well, I believe. But it's I think there's only you and Gordie Howe and Chris Chelios, so the only three guys I ever knew of to switch hands and shoot a puck. And yeah, I think you're the only one to score.
I think I was the only one.
Yeah.
I think I was the best one of the three.
Yeah. I think so too. Hold on here. Yeah, Grant's saying we got 10 minutes because we're going to run out of bandwidth. So Yvan, I'll finish up a couple questions here. I want to talk to you. Thank you so much about commenting on Big Jean. He was an amazing man. I got to know him a little bit, through you, really. And obviously got to ask you about 72, the Summit Series. We're now past several years past the 50th anniversary, but I've talked to you about every single thing about it. But when you look back now, all these years later, 72 compared to the 10 Stanley Cups that your name is on, how do you answer that question when somebody says, Yvan, you won for your country, the drama with Henderson at the end, and the 10 Stanley Cups? How do you compare it?
I think it's very hard to compare because that was the first time we played the European guys, and we didn't know exactly if they were good or bad or whatever, but they were very very good.
Yeah,
So Stanley Cup is the same time. You have to have a good team, and they had a good team, but we had a good team too with the National Hockey League. But I think winning both is not too bad.
no, no, it's good to be on the winning side of both. But like Yvan, that final face-off, I know Phil Esposito doesn't remember what he said to everybody, and of course Paul wasn't on then. Pete Mahovlich was. Paul comes on for Peter. But Yvan, can you believe it? With 34 seconds to go, you keep the puck in at the blue line, right? Like,
Yeah. I was really tired, and I think if that would have been a regular ring, I would have go to the bench. But the defense from Russia was behind the net, and he tried to clear the puck at the blue line. I was stopped at the blue line, and I look at the bench and I said, "Oh, I'm never gonna make it." So I stay there, and this is what I have the puck on my stick, and I see Paul coming from the bench,
right.
and the pass was a little bit ahead, and it went in the corner, and we see what happened after that.
Yeah.
And I was just behind him when he scored the goal. Like if I had the camera, I would have the best shot of them all. And that's why he jumped in my arm, and I said, we did it." And the satisfaction was incredible. Even now, after over 50 years, a lot
53.
of people talk about it.
Yeah, well, it still drives so many discussions online. There's so much more I could ask you about that. I'll finish on this one about 72, just touching your goal in Toronto. when you went around the defenseman. What's the line you always use? You went around him so fast.
Yeah, you still have a cold from the wind.
That was like Moose Basco in Chicago. When you went around Moose Basco at 65.
No, no, I think they had a penalty, and Brad Park was with me,
Yes.
and I said to Brad, I said, if puck come on our zone, watch me. I just turn around, and I was already on my flight
Yeah.
at the blue line, and he passed me the puck right on the stick, and the defense at the blue line, it was so I went around him and scored a goal.
Yeah. Against Trechak. It was absolutely beautiful. Yvon, we'll finish on this note. I want to finish. You and Rocket Richard are the only two men in hockey history to win the Stanley Cup every year you were captain. So every year you were captain of Montreal, you won the Stanley Cup, including 1977, Yvan, the greatest single season in NHL history by any team. You guys only lost 8 games. Could you make a comment about those late 70s Montreal Canadiens with a little thing about Guy Lafleur? And we'll finish on that note.
Oh well, to lose 8 games, that was incredible. And I think the year before or after, the year before, I think we lost 10.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy.
we had to have guys like Guy Lafleur and good goalies. Ken Dryden came, and I think Ken Dryden for me was one of the best of the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
And we have a perfect team on the ice and off the ice too.
Yeah, you sure did, Yvan. I mean, I know you guys were very, very close, and there's quite a few of you were on all four winning teams. Yvan, this has been an absolute treat, an honor every time it is to see you and talk to you. And I thank you so much for hanging in through some technical difficulties yesterday and this morning. And we sure do appreciate you coming on the Montreal Forum with Liam Maguire. The Montreal Forum was your home, Yvan, for a long time.
I think you got married there at the forum, if I
I
if
got it
I
proposed.
remember.
I proposed at center ice there, Yvonne. You're right. Look at you coming up with that. Yvonne,
You must
I
you,
want
you
to come.
must you must you must have scored a goal that game.
Well, I did score that night. Yvonne, I want to come see you and Evelyn this hockey season.
No problem. Thank you very much, Ian. You're the best fan of the Montreal Canadiens.
Well, thank you, Yvonne. Thank you so much. And listen, we'll sign off on that. Again, I thank you on behalf of Grant McCagg and Habs Cast. I'm Liam Maguire, the Montreal Forum. I'll be back a little bit more after this. Thank you to Yvonne.
Thank you for having me.